Ready?
Yep.
Hey guys, this is Jeff, and
Hey guys, this is Jack.
I'm just introducing, giving you a quick highlight of what we're going to be talking about today in our episode. We're going to talk about Transformers the movie. We're going to talk about
Ready
Ready
Player
Player One.
One. We're
We
also
actually
gonna
are.
we're also gonna be talking about World War One.
Well, we actually are going to slightly talk about, those amazing Transformers films. They're horrible. So what are we going to be talking about in this episode, Jack?
Oh, well, we're gonna be talking about just several unique chapters that the gaming industry has gone over to for these past weeks.
hmm That
But
includes
oh,
gaming. Oh, go. Yep, please.
but also, forgive me, I may have swear a couple
Yes.
times.
Well, you won't hear it. There'll be a little over that. But yeah, we're going to talk about in-game advertising in games, some really cool stuff that University of Oregon's doing, how Ignacy Trzewiczek lost his compass, gaming for health or the benefits of gaming for health, solo RPGs, um, gaming RPGs that are reclaiming the table space from bigots and jerks.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one to
Yeah.
see the comments from.
Anything else? Um,
And
is
then
it?
we're also going to be talking about two communities that are trying to do new things in their own subgenres.
Yes. All right. So stay tuned and enjoy the episode. All
Have a
right.
nice day. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Board State. This is an episode brought to you from the beautiful island of Oahu. My name is Jeffrey Vieira, aka Mr. V. I am joined by my friend, my student as well,
Uh,
on the other side of the island. Is that the other side? Yeah, that is the other
yeah,
side.
it's the other side.
It's the cool side
Yeah.
from Nanakuli, Oahu. Who are you, sir? Please introduce yourself.
My name is Jack KJ Hobbs, and also go by Kanei. Oh,
That's right. Good morning, sir. How
morning.
are you?
Very a bit tired, but not as tired as you are.
Shh, 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 shh. I am a little tired. So the board state. This is a podcast that really started out to extend a conversation between myself and another game designer in Texas, John Dez, and it's kind of evolved and took some time over the years, and now we're rebranding it to do gaming news. So gaming news, um, with an emphasis on. So we're going to spotlight games that stood out to us in terms of games that are like display a level of innovation or experimental or controversial. And yeah, just any kind of game development related items that stood out for us for the past week or so. That's pretty accurate, right,
Yeah,
Jack?
pretty much.
Okay. And also, what Jack is referring to is, and I'll take a minute to talk about this, we'll jump right in. So, yesterday, I played a game called Kingdom Death Monster, which is my favorite game in the whole wide world. Um, from the afternoon to very, 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 well, late in the morning, really. I was going to say early in the morning. So, I've had, I don't know, like 35 minutes of sleep or something like that. It's going to be a
if
really interesting podcast. I feel
if
like Hunter S. Thompson right now.
if the
Sorry, you going to
audience
say
have
something? Go
played
ahead.
either D&D or have a long game session, they will know how you're feeling at this point.
Yeah. So strap your belt buckle, put on your belt buckles. It's going to be an interesting. Okay. So let's just jump right in. So the first article of the week is from Vice.com. And this is how tabletop RPGs are being reclaimed from bigots and jerks. And this is a article by Matthew Galt. And this is a showcase of a tabletop RPG who is really calling out H.P. Lovecraft and his bigotry and racism, which was really interesting. Is when I was in high school, and I was introduced by H.P. Lovecraft, I didn't really see all this stuff. But as I got older and going back to the source material, I began to kind of see this, like, hey, wait a minute. Some of this stuff he's saying, and it's not just a matter of it being historically accurate, but he just had some pretty racy views, which, as everybody kind of knows at this point. Yeah, so the game's called Fate of Cthulhu. It's an upcoming RPG where players take on the role of time travelers trying to stop a Cthulhu-style apocalypse. It's inspired by works of H.P. Lovecraft, this is right from the site, who was racist and anti-Semitic, vehemently racist and anti-Semitic. Because of that, Evil Hat Productions is publishing content warning on the page 6 of Fate of Cthulhu that calls out the author and highlights the work of writers of color. Freaking awesome, man, who have re-examined and reinterpreted the author's work. So very, very cool. I'm definitely going to pick this up. I'm going to want a physical version, and I'll bring this to class that we can explore as well. Your thoughts on this, Jack?
Honestly, it feels like okay, so like taking it from like this whole debate on political correctness and reanalyzing contacts, I really see if they did not change like the core mentality of Cthulhu or like how you play Cthulhu, I don't see anything wrong with just having like a simple thing like this. Because the whole point of a Call of Cthulhu game is to make you scale and make you try to not want to die.
Okay. Cool.
And this is like, from a gameplay perspective, it's not really much to say, but from a game developer perspective, it shows like a very much contrast now coming.
Yeah. So for me, H.P. Lovecraft games were always about ordinary people faced against an existential cosmic dread that's just so insurmountable, right? That when they realize what it is, they go cuckoos, kind of like how I feel right now after all this sleep deprivation. But I've, and that's what I've loved so much, and that's what I don't like to see is these, and this is a little bit off tangent, but I mean not really, is H.P. Lovecraft games where you have these lack for a better description, the Avengers fighting these cosmic gods, right? Because I think that's kind of beside the point of what Lovecraft was trying to, the point is trying to get across, where you can't punch Yog-Sothoth in the face.
Right.
Right. Go ahead, please.
And it doesn't state that they're changing the game mechanics to the Avengers. It only states that they're adding accounting and consent about the original author.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Which is also beneficial because I know, like, for example, if Star Wars found out that George Lucas was like a pervert, then they will have to address it, no matter
that would
how.
Be a really interesting Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Not interesting, not in a good way.
No,
like,
but.
But yeah, it changes the entire context of what. So you re-look at Star Wars differently.
Right.
Like, wait a minute. So when Luke was... I'm sorry, go please. I probably shouldn't.
Oh my God. Okay, let's not ruin any childhood memories. Disney already done that.
Oh, Jack said it, I didn't. For the first time. No, you've been very vocal about it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it really sums up in the quote right from the article is Evil Hat said in response, a quick reminder, if you don't like politics included in our game, don't buy them. We literally do not want your money. We are committed to diverse and inclusive gaming. We're not perfect, but we're trying. That is a effing cool statement. It's just like, all right, this is where the line is. If you're not on this side,
No,
that's cool. We don't want your money. You go back on that side.
no. And unlike the filming industry, they actually stated, like,
Well said.
I mean, say what you will about Battlefield 5, at least they had the balls to actually state it, and not like in the film industry. Oh, let the audience figure out.
Hmm.
So even
Gotcha.
EA has its bright moments, ish.
Wow. Is this EA praise? Am I hallucinating, or am I hearing some EA praise right now
I
by a
mean,
certain Mr.
they
Jack
did one
Hobbs?
good thing. They did one good thing by making Star Wars Last Jedi. I have to give them that.
Oh,
That's
have
it.
you? Okay, I haven't really tried that. Pretty good.
Hell yeah,
Okay,
it
okay,
is.
all right, okay, okay. Let's not get into that since that's not one of our notes on topic. So that was a really cool article that Vice put together. Also, Vice is a very popular media outlet, and to see them highlight a tabletop RPG is really cool.
Aye.
Okay, so the next article, which I shared with everybody on social media, is the 12 incredible benefits of board games on health. And this is the only reason why I play board games. It's really good for your health. For example,
Yeah.
memory and cognitive skills, reduction of stress, development of empathy, social
Con-
relationships,
contrast of depression.
contrast to depression, improving so you too can lose 35 pounds by playing Aquasphere and Castles of Burgundy in step by step. Um, no, so in all seriousness, this is something that we've kind of known about, for some time.
Right.
This is an article by Zobus.com, and we have. I mean, this is a no brainer that playing, and in this article specifically, tabletop games, board games, RPGs, etc. Well, in this they're really just looking at board games, but it does help with cognitive ability, reduction of stress, absolutely, right, and
Right.
development of empathy, and social connection, and things like that. Um, I guess, yeah, in contrast to depression, there was actually, and the article highlights a study that was done in East Carolina to monitor actual changes in brain activity that was experienced by casual gamers. And yeah, there was a reduction of reduced stress and greater resilience and improve concentration and attention level. Absolutely. And it cites another. So these are university studies. It's not just
Right.
some bro at home, played some games and like, yeah, I feel
But
much better. But
as as a
honestly,
game
just
developers, we're kind of supposed to at least know that we're dealing with a lot of human emotions, not just like memory, but emotions itself. Not taste or smell, but hearing and what their memories could be recalling for them.
so I was gonna
So
say, I was just gonna say that I know. Well, so Sunday, I mean, really busy. Been really busy recent, so I really try to at least save Sunday, quote unquote, holy day, as like my tabletop gaming, just dedicated to tabletop gaming. And I noticed that. So when I'm done playing, my wife will oftentimes just ask me, so how do you feel right now? Do you have that feeling? I'm like, absolutely. My brain is firing. I
mhm.
feel rejuvenated. Yeah, so just from a personal experience, that's what I mean, even bad games, like even when I lose, dice weren't working in my favor, or another player just like ran away, with the game, I still have this like euphoria, feeling about me.
Yeah, it the first time I played Magic in Magic the Gathering
Hmm.
Commander,
Hmm.
I remember fondly me getting my ass kicked
Hmm.
within the first turn, but I wanted to play again and again and again, and I'm like, why is that? And
Hmm.
so turns out it was because of memory.
Cool. All right. Anything else to add for this one?
No, it's just that kind of restating what we already know.
Hey. So it's a no-brainer. All right,
You
let's
could
get
tell
out of here.
that was a dad joke. You could tell that was a dad joke.
Pun intended. So that was from Zobuzz.com, the 12 incredible benefits of board games on health. All right, let's close that one up. Okay, next is going to be, and you know what, man? So this is by Forbes.com, and there's a lot of Forbes tabletop. Excuse me for a second. A lot of Forbes tabletop articles that's been coming out in like the last month, even more and more and more. So maybe there's some money to be made in this industry.
I really doubt it though. I think Forbes is like trying to change their outlook and trying to diverge from more of the attention that politics has been getting.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, okay. So this is. Oh no, go ahead. Yep.
Well, I was just gonna say that like I know for a fact that at least several investors are actually pulling out of like Vice, Forbes, Fox, just to get out of like anything to do with politics for the time being.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I think that's all the time we should give to that P word in this episode as well. Speaking of which, all right.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is going to be put this portable RPG in your pocket and on your phone. This is, again, Forbes.com. And what is this company's name? The Verse series. Okay, so there's a Verse series of games from Denga Design, and the Verse games were created by game designer Philip Reed as a design challenge for himself. And what these are like little RPG, tabletop RPG booklets that are like the size of. Well, and I don't have these yet, but I'm definitely going to pick these up. And they're like $4 on Drive-Thru RPG. So when I kind of looked at them, I was like, oh wow, very cool. And these are little pocket size RPG books. And I'm really so I don't know if you, so I'm assuming you just play them solo. I think the minimalist system is perfect for people who just want to get so it's a full-on RPG, but it's just you have everything kind of in your pocket. So like one of the ideas of one of the games that we were making in class, right, is that the entire game just kind of fits in your pocket and bring it out and play it wherever. But this is just for a tabletop RPG experience. I love this. Your thoughts on this, sir?
One, I want to buy Versus Hitler. For, research purposes,
Right. But did you see the games? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm totally interrupting you. But they even have like, here, let me just read one of the games that immediately jumped out to me. So this is Verse. So it's all Verse, Verse Mars, Verse the Empire, Verse Mecha. So one is Verse Hitler, and the description is punch a Nazi in the face. That's why Nazis have them. Verse Hitler is a small role-playing game of World War II fisted action. You need 2 to 5 players, each with a standard deck of playing cards, pencils, paper, and about 3 hours. Your squad is on the long march to Berlin, ready to take on the Nazi menace and save the world for freedom. Verse Hitler, etc., etc. So what's really cool with this is, just real quick, is you're using a standard deck of playing cards. So I'm assuming that's instead of dice, right? Like that's going to kind of be your variability or RNG in the game. Pencils, paper, and about 3 hours, so everything fits in your pocket, essentially, your pockets.
Right. And each one is basically a different scenario and different players you need. So like why P2 versus Spy, you need 3 to 4 players, not 2 to 4. And it's all about you being an intelligent agent trying to kill another agent in your country.
Yeah, like versus pirates, for
Mm-hmm.
Spy. So Spy is 3 to 4, so different, player counts. But man, this is so cool, dude.
I
Right? I mean, right. What a time to be a gamer, man. What
but
a
if
yes.
if you check out customers who bought this title, most of the customers who buy it is Cyberpunk. Or
That play Cyberpunk, you mean?
yeah, that plays or have bought Cyberpunk like
So the super
game
cool people, because I
bundles,
hear the people that play Cyberpunk are so cool.
right?
Just really, really cool, really nice people to be around. You're just like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that guy or girl that plays Cyberpunk is so cool. I want to be just like that.
You know, say CD Projekt Red, give us a free copy.
Oh, that's the video game I'm talking about, just tabletop.
Oh
Anyway, all right.
yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, so that is anything else to add about this? I think we explored this topic as far as we can.
I'm most curious if they're gonna add more to it.
I hope. I mean, yeah, I hope so. You can just keep going with this. So okay, so that is
Uh,
Forbes.com again. Put this
uh,
portable RPG in your pocket and on your phone. Denga design. Right on, guys. Good job. Okay. Oh boy. Here we go. So the next article, or the next topic that we're going to talk about is some. Okay, so this. Take a step back here. Now, when selecting what to put on the podcast, what we try to do is pick something that isn't really being talked about right now, and then kind of shed a spotlight on that. Essentially, right? So we look for, community organizations that are doing cool things, or this really
or
weird experimental game.
news that's not being showcased as much
Yep, yep.
because they'll yeah.
Okay. And we're not going to go into it, but I'm just going to mention it, Jack. Okay, so just, put your hands over your mouth, because I know you have a lot to say about this. But for example, Warcraft Reforged, right now it's being talked about a lot right now. But we're not going to talk about it at all. We're just going to say that. But like, for example, that's something that, we would talk about, but, it's everything has been said about it. And this topic. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about that is because the impact that this article has had in the game design community, or just tabletop gaming in general.
In game development in general,
Well, game development, but also people that are playing games too. Like and we'll get into that a little bit. But how they're thinking about like buying games now and things like that. It's just. I mean, I think it's going to be really the subject of 2020, and it is. Help Me, I've Lost My Compass by Ignacy Trzewiczek of Portal Games. And before you go into your dissertation, sir, let me just highlight this, what this is about. So Ignacy is basically this is an article on Board Game Geek, a little blog post. I don't know, 6, maybe 9 short little paragraphs. I mean, really, really short, but a lot of comments, of course, and discussion. And this has been talked about on Secret Cabal podcast, and then around the internet as well. What he's saying is just that. It's like, help me, I lost my compass. Last year I knew that detective games were going to be the thing. I knew, so he kind of goes through. Ignacy Trzewiczek has been in the industry forever. And he's been, his compass is always, his design compass is always pointed in a certain direction. Whereas in 2020, it's just spinning around. He doesn't know, what direction to go in. And to speak to this further, I mean, we have weekly hundreds of games coming out, or dozens to 100 games coming out per week, and as designers, well, for us, I'm going to try to be as modest as possible. For us in class, I think we're in a position where we create really uniquely weird games that. So this isn't really affecting us, but in the industry in large, people are like, well, I don't know what the next thing is to build, And for a consumer, they're like, you know what? Maybe I don't need another fantasy dungeon builder because I've got about 9 of them on my shelf that I haven't really played yet, that I just bought because of the box cover or because of the hype or whatever. So they're also saying that in 2020 is going to be the death of the acquisition disorder. And that's something that I've been experiencing a lot, especially in the last 8 months. So I have, I'll just share this with the world. I have about 3,400 board games, and that's no exaggeration. I have 3,400 board games. I'm not very proud to say that. And most of that is, a good portion of that is unplayed. It's just, at one point, if a game was released, I just bought it. And I would just buy games, that a designer rate. But now, like, I'm very, very selective when I'm buying stuff, and I'm not alone. These people are, I've been talking to other gamers, and in the Ludology podcast, they talk about this a little bit, and one of the latest Ludology podcasts about, how selective players are, how selective board game purchases are now, in terms of, do I have this game already? Do I have something similar to this? What is this game different that nobody else has offered? So that's kind of the state that I think we're really in right now in terms of an industry, and something that Ignacio Trzewiczek has been highlighting. Your thoughts, sir?
So there was like 3 things that it all put together into this one article. Mm-hmm. So the first one is that on the consumer senses, mm-hmm. but the second one is the freedom that it allows for game developers to tackle for the next coming years, mm-hmm. because they're not bound to like, oh, this is what get things selling. Instead, it's like it could be anything and everything as long as it has a unique factor, as long as it's not a carbon copy, which is going to be more difficult, but will produce more unique and creative games than just one book track. Oh, okay, you're not copying D&D, so just it. But another thing is that if game developers don't evolve to this, then this will showcase like not a potential decline, but is what may happen if we don't evolve. For example, like the filming industry had mm-hmm. suffered this whole Lost in Compass idea. So their idea was to just continue the course and continue. And yeah, the recent films haven't been too great. So
very true. That's such a good point, man. Thank you. That's okay. And then I'm sorry. Please continue.
The last part with the consumer idea is basically all of these things are from the filming industry, and all of these resentment and stuff. Now they just want to have choice brought back to them somehow. And so this is going to affect the video game industry as well, because board gaming industry and video game industry, they may have like a divergence, but the gamers are gamers still the same. And what one gamer wants, most likely other gamers will want. And that would be the freedom of choice and creativity. So yeah.
Whew, yeah, exactly. But you're absolutely, man, you're like dead on. This is good. This is a good thing, right?
Right.
It's not a doom and gloom thing. This is gonna make game developers think harder, right? Like they have that. The last episode I mentioned his name. I'll mention it again. This episode I should get it right this time. Andrew Yang, but he has this. His thing is math, right? Make America think really hard, make America think hard. This is make game designers think really hard now, right?
But
you just can't get away. You just can't get away with going after Killing a Dragon now with
right.
cool cover art. You're gonna have to add a little bit more substance to that.
I do have to emphasize though that game developers should not see this as oh crap, what do we do now? Like how this article introduced and made lean towards at the ending, but I do want to state that the film industry is at that point and it's dead. It's pretty much dying right now. We have the option of just doing more unique factors without publishers like having a shotgun right up to our heads.
Whoa, yes.
So
Okay, so that is Help Me, I've Lost My Compass by Ignacy Trzewiczek. And this is on BoardGameGeek.com.
well, one last thing is that his English is very good. Like, I know that sounds like American for me to say it, but like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's been coming here forever, and yeah, I mean, he has I forget the name of his podcast with Stephen Bonacar, Stronghold Games. Yeah, really cool dude. Okay.
Yeah.
It may be because he plays a lot of tabletop RPGs, I think. Oh, well, maybe it's back home. Anyway.
Yeah, I was just saying because like Poland, yeah, Far Eastern European country.
Okay. Next article is going to be GameIndustry.biz, and this is Creative Chronicles designing for, designing for color blindness in games. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight this. This is something that's always easily overlooked in the game design space, and I think it's very, very, very important. It's something to really highlight. I've been in a lot of circumstances. Even here in Hawaii, I have a couple of friends that are colorblind, and I've been even in conventions overseas, outside of Oahu, where I've been playing with people that I don't know, and they're like, which one of these is red? Like, oh, that one. Like, oh, okay. And they're, telegraphing information across, like, oh, all right, he needs to go to a red space. And I can't help but, like, start to form strategies around that. I don't, they weren't bluffing in those instances. But, yeah, and I think, so the article kind of goes through it enough, and there's, a little video. And a little video that goes over what they're talking about here, but really, before you go into what you're going to say, even just using simple textures on the background, right? So like if it's a red card and if there's like a stripe on it or something, or just some kind of a pattern on it that lets them know. Because they can see the pattern, right? So like, and there's also color blind safe colors that you can use, that I have here. Yeah, so colorblind friendly colors. So like there's, like yellow, for example, there's Protanopia, and I'm looking right in the Phil Faster playtesting journal guide. It has in this is actually a really, really good plug here. This is really cool. It's a playtesting journal that gives you some questions to ask yourself when you're playtesting. And right on the back, they go through colorblind friendly choices if you want to just stick to colors. But really, a really simple answer is you can just put textures or patterns on the background. Your thoughts, sir?
Okay, so the guys who make the video and also the basically describing color blindness is a game developer. Well, not game developer, but actually I'm not too sure if they're a publisher or developer. But basically they make the one series I love and got me into strategy gaming. And that
and what would that be? Sorry, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Total War.
Yeah, it's a freaking amazing game. Well, Total War series, right? Is all different ones. Okay. Please continue.
The recent one is like Total War Three Kingdoms, and then they got in Halo Wars. Oh, I love them. But okay, but the thing about Creative Assembly though, even though I really wanted to, but okay. The fact that they also allow a video to be published out from their official channel showcase like they really have received a lot of questions about this. problem problem game developers has been facing. And I'm just assuming that this is one way of solving it. There's gonna be more ways in the future, but this is the best way for now, or one of the best ways.
Hmm. I mean, I'm just calling it out, right? Like, hey,
Hmm.
guys, this is something that you should really consider when you're building stuff or you're making
Right,
games.
and it also doesn't say this is a restriction. Heck, people can make, like how we saw in the prior weeks, make career banner schemes and become very successful in their own right,
Yep.
because
Yep.
it's now tapping into an industry that is, as of late, having not been touched. Reason why VR is such a popular thing. But
Yep.
yeah.
So that's going to be Creative Chronicles designing for color blindness in games,
Oh,
and that's GameIndustry.biz. What's up?
one last thing is that I know there's several like YouTubers who actually pay color banner schemes just because they want to experience it.
Wow.
So like I know like a Total War YouTuber will try and to make things interesting, turn color banners on.
Wow. Cool. All right. Moving on. Okay. So the next one's going to be from shepherdmedia.com.
It's
And
very
this is-
fitting.
So actually, you know what? So this is an article that Jack put our show notes. Why don't you start this one and tell us what this article is about?
Okay, so the Shepherd News Media is not a gaming organization. It mostly has to do with news in UK. But this one happened also a week ago or so, and it's mainly about UK's commitment into ball gaming as a field for military experts to use. And so one of their top laboratories called DSTL, the Defense Science and Technology Laboratory, is now actively putting funds into research and also development of use in a military setting. So that's the dumbed down version of it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of asking the question, is game developers, should they participate in war, like actual war again? Because like in the US Army, they tried that with a recruitment ad for like make an army soldier or something like that as a video game for the audience, and that was used as a recruitment effort, but they didn't really experiment it as like an actual tool to train officers, like how UK is.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Yeah. Oh no. So okay. So, yeah. So I don't remember the name, but there was a Russian. One of the first board games ever. So I teach game design. I'm supposed to know this stuff, but I'm a little sleep deprived as well. But there was a Russian back, I don't know, like 1600s or something, that was using a tabletop game to simulate wartime strategy, and I think his son finished, well, not published, but finished the game, and then actually started. I think he was like laughed at or whatever. The father was for this game that he made, and then his son kind of furthered the work, and then it was actually looked at and used as like a simulation for war. But yeah, this is I mean, again, a no-brainer, right? This is something that we preach a lot on the show, and preach a lot in person, is using games, and like they say in this article, decision making in a safe to fail environment, right? Where you're not blowing off your arms by making this decision, yet you can simulate near real strategic or environment decisions outside in a simulation tabletop experience very cheaply, right? Because you don't have to build these digital models or digital environments to create all this. Like in what's his name? Hold on, let me just look something up here. Little who wrote? Do you remember who wrote Little Wars? H.G. Wells.
No.
The
Wait, H.G.
that's some
Wells?
obscure name.
The same guy who wrote Call of Cthulhu. We sure we got the right guy?
It's H.G. Wells. It is. It is. Yes. It's so ridiculous. But I can't remember. The H.G. Wells. Whereas, like in the book Little Wars, he would actually use like books and stuff to simulate buildings. You don't need like actual tabletop miniatures and actual tabletop terrain. I mean, of course, it's a better gaming experience, but you don't need it. You can grab some boxes and things like that to simulate an environment. So yeah, I really like how this article is bringing that to light even more so.
Also, the contrast between, and it also showcased the contrast in priorities, because in the U.S. military, all war games are always either digital or military strategic. Like, if you fail, real people is gonna get hurt. But in the UK's, they're accepting that whole fail. So it also showing the different ways governments are perceiving ball gaming as a use. So UK is seeing it as more as a purpose to train people to be better, while the US seeing it as a more of a perfection. You need to be getting it right, or else,
Okay. So yeah, that is nice, great find, sir. Shepherd News, shepherdmedia.com, and that was DSTO opens UK first wargaming center. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just trying to read the title. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. All right. This next one's again. We're Forbes. I mean, you were saying they're trying to get out of the P game, but not political game. Again, but these are these financial websites that are talking about gaming. So this one kind of like, I was like, wow, Evil's moving in. So Frameplay. So this is YahooFinance.com, and this is Frameplay is transforming video game advertising, and it's a company that manages in-game advertising, and this is something that we see. I believe there's a couple of video games. So this is more specifically. Well, that'd be interesting if it was in tabletop as well. The new it says pick a game. The new Uwe Rosenberg game is showcasing some some European ham company or something there, like as actual components, which still, I mean, like product placement, right? Like it can happen, but yeah, so this is kind of like, I don't know, the way I see it is it's like this marketing company that you can basically put these like ads, like financial ads in games, like you can kind of go through them. Frameplay.gg, a video game advertising company headquartered in San Francisco, has announced the release of its new innovative intrinsic values advertising platform. The company, I'm just reading this right from the site, the company is positioning its software as a new standard in video game advertising and believes its cross-platform functionality, PC, mobile, and console, and developer-first approach is the key to their success in helping advertisers reach a global audience of nearly 2.6 billion gamers in a manner that is acceptable to them. What's your thoughts on this, homie?
Ready Player One guy on the hose.
Sorry?
Well, I mean,
did you just drop an F-bomb, sir?
I apologize for my story, but God.
Well, we'll go in and post and add a little hee-haw or something.
But it's sick. Oh my God!
Just for the uninclined uninclined because it's Ernest Cline wrote. I think it's Ernest Cline wrote Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah,
Let's explain
honestly,
what Ready Player One is to the uninitiated.
okay, Ready Player One is basically about a story of a gamer who's taking on a corporation on this one game, on this major game. Well, anything can happen, and it's basically a love letter to all of gaming, but mostly impartial to the 80s pop culture gaming. And so, in this game, basically, this
But
gamer
in
has
the
to
book,
fight.
in the book or
Oh, yeah.
movie, right?
Yeah, book and movie. It's basically showcasing the contrast of a corporate, of like a publisher becoming its ultimate greedy form. And so that's how, and this gamer has to tackle like that situation, because whoever wins like this Easter egg controls this one game which hosts the entire gaming industry now. I think I got it right. Right?
That's definitely. I mean, that's definitely kind of the highlight of it. I think. Holiday. What was his name? The dude that passed away. Holloway. Something Holloway.
Highway.
Yeah.
Highway.
So. Just to kind of add on to what you were saying, and we're not it's not review, but it's a phenomenal. The movies are right.
Yeah.
They got most of it. The book is phenomenal. So what I liked, so when the book came out, what I would tell people is Ernest Cline figured out a way to show the world how his, so he had like all this, I don't want to say useless knowledge because we value that knowledge as geeks. But he had like all this intricate knowledge about, if you play the adventure game, the Atari adventure game, there's this hack, or they would showcase the programmers. They could have put the programmer's name in the credits or on the box cover, so the programmers would like hide it in this hidden level. So he had like all these like obscure knowledge on just all this 80s game stuff, right? So he figured out a way to put all that knowledge in a book. So like what Jack was mentioning, there's this system called the Oasis, I think it's called, and everything runs on that, right? School, so it's like this virtual world. So just think kind of World of Warcraft, like this MMO kind of virtual space. Everything runs on there. Banking systems, schools, everything.
I would think more like VR the game.
Yeah, right. So I mean, it's a virtual reality. Of course, this is the future. It's a virtual reality space. So it's like you are there. You put on, full on, mask and everything, and there's haptic gear that you can put on to where you can feel, hits and things like that. But the point is, everything in the world is run through the Oasis. Like education, banking, whatever, and the guy that made this was Holloway. That's his last name. So anyway, he passes on, and when he passes on, he basically, what he does is, you can basically become sysadmin, the god of of the Oasis, which controls everything, if you can go through a series of Easter eggs. And the Easter eggs, in order to solve this Easter eggs, you have to really know who Holloway was. So a lot of these are like, pitfall questions, pitfall simulations and things like that. So there's like corporations that are built around, they have like this, like this desk farm, or these people that are like practicing certain levels or researching Atari history and things like that to get past these Easter eggs in this Oasis virtual world, because whoever gets to the end gets the keys to the kingdom. Yeah, it's fantastic book and freaking movie.
Corporations the main desire of doing it is to do what FameP is proposing.
Yes, thank you, Jack, for reeling it around.
So I'm not saying,
and like those horrible Transformer movies, right? Remember that?
Right.
And like the Xbox and the mountain. It's just, oh my god.
No, but
bastards. Okay, I'm sorry. Please, raging over here.
Decepticon. So it in February the law because Xbox, though may be seen as good, are
Man,
always
Transformers was
be
such a
bad.
horrible. Okay, I'm sorry. Please. Okay.
Before we get to Transformers territory,
Sorry. Okay, we're not here to talk about Transformers.
Michael Bay.
Frame play. Let's focus, please.
Okay, so but
Freaking
it
Transformers.
it's super. I'm not saying that FamePay will become that bad of an organization. I honestly feel like they're gonna propose something, but it's only gonna tackle one set of gaming, and that's gonna be mobile gaming.
Oh, PC. It was his PC mobile console.
Okay, fuck, we'll do.
Oh, dude. Oh my god. Beep. All right, so
Oh
that is
God.
2 at 106. Okay. All right. So please continue. Sorry.
Okay. Um, a new, but it really. I'm just saying that it won't affect an industry to a point where it's gonna take over like microtransactions. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
hoping that this advertisement will allow other companies to start up and allow new avenues for game developers to add revenue, but
Yeah,
not
sure.
in a way that is restrictive. Like in Ready Player One, it was only gonna be about the ads.
Yeah, like they mentioned here in the article, global audience reaching 2.6 billion gamers, right? So
Right,
there's money to be made. So when there's money to be made, people are gonna try to make money, right?
but
Whatever means that they possibly can. And
but they,
this, so agree with her or not, this stuff is gonna start making its way into gaming.
well, it, but I don't think it's gonna be such a plague like
I hope you're right.
microtransactions.
Like this website that we're looking at, Yahoo Finances. We're on the right hand side. There's all this. Hey, big laughs are made to be shared. PayPal. Hey, Super
No,
Bowl
but
something
what
with
well
footballs
I'm
and
saying
whatever.
because how the okay from what their sources stating from their website, it seems to be more about like advertisements in the background, not in the forefront, like on a TV screen or on a billboard, like shown on their cover arts.
Well,
Not,
I hope you're right, man.
I mean, then again, I could be wrong, and we have companies like EA who have born
He's taking it
everything to
back,
the ground
folks.
with
He's
microtransactions.
taking it back. He giveth and taketh away. You gaveth praise, and then with the other hand taketh away.
Yeah, I have to bash
All
them
right. Let's
sometime.
let's let's get off of this. We can talk about this all day. So that is frame play is transforming video game advertising, and Transformers apparently. YahooFinances.com.
Oh,
Moving
I'm ready
on.
to play one.
Ready Player One. Okay. All right.
Wait,
So to something. Okay. Next article is something that really jumped out at me, man. And this is just really a shout out I wanted to do. This event happened January 24th. The University of Oregon, Holy Land. And
oh,
man,
me that better me, oh, yo.
so they had a science, communication, research, climate change game night. Man, it's just so cool, dude. So I'll just read this really quick. So the Center for Science Communication Research Climate Change Game Night offers hands-on opportunities to explore representations of climate change through play and provide an opportunity for students from across campus to access the newly built student experience hub in Allen Hall. So I guess they're showcasing that. But here's the big thing that stood out for me: free pizza. No, I'm just kidding. Wasn't just the free pizza, but so I've been pulled into a lot of these kind of things, like projects where a school or not companies, school or some kind of educational or nonprofit will pull me in and like, we want to talk about issues, this type of issue. Can you bring games that kind of relate to the issue? And I'll go through my collection and grab some stuff. But then I also read some articles about other people doing the similar things, and they'll do their best to try to bring games in. But they're not really hobby games, what we would call them. Man, the games that they have in this game, in this that they're bringing, are effing, Jack, not beep beep beep, spot on, bruh. They got CO2, Planet, Photosynthesis, Forbidden Island, Gaia. Well, I mean CO2, and then of course Evolution, Climate Change. I'm not really a fan of, but I mean it's these are like gamer games, right? And then Settlers of Catan Climate Edition, which I haven't played. I'm sure it's fine, whatever. But I mean CO2 in there, man. Like wow, like yes. Here. In fact, it's right in the back of me. This is what I'm going to shake the box. That is CO2, man.
Don't
hear that?
Break,
that was CO2.
Okay, I was just saying, don't break the recording.
like I broke the mic in the other one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I just really wanted to shout this out. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Thank the heavens that the whole year has brought us this. No, but for real, so it's honestly awesome that they didn't choose games where it seems like, other than CO2 and maybe Evolution of Climate, a lot of these games were made at first to talk about other topics than climate change.
Yeah. But like it's a good curated list, right?
Yeah, and it shows, and it also shows like, even if you deny climate change or you propose that the science is wrong, you could all agree that like Planet or even Gaia or Forbidden Island, if you play it, you could at least dig the game mechanics and have fun with it with your friends.
Yeah.
So it's bringing a gap between climate change denials and climate change activists at least closer together with introducing games.
Yeah. And, exactly. I'm not even going to add to that. You just, bam, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's University of Oregon. Go ahead. Sorry. Yep.
It is interesting, though, because I know that in California, the state just south of them, they're proposing more and more science conventions with films, but focus more on one side or the other, not this whole bringing together. So it's interesting how the contrast is from just by one state. Yeah. But anyhow.
Yep. So that was University of Oregon, Science Communication Research, Climate Change Game Night. Man, so cool. Okay. Getting towards the end of the episode here. We've got a couple more things to mention. So this article, so cool. This is GamesRadar.com. The Miles We Walk: How Physical Maps Can Guide the Development of Sprawling Game Worlds. And so I wanted to mention. So pre-D&D, and I can't. Maybe I'll add the link later. But yeah, I'm a little sleep deprived, so I couldn't find the article. And when I was posting this together last week, I'm like, I'll just look it up on the day right before the podcast. Bad idea, kids. You always want to prepare early.
Well, you could have done it if they went into a whole game day thing.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So pre D&D, there used to be these. I think they were called like gas lamp explorers, and that's just what they called themselves. They would take these like abandoned coal mines, like abandoned coal mine maps, and they would go spelunking through them. And I'll reference exactly what this. I think they were called the gas lamp event, but they're maybe not. They're probably called something else. But they would, and this is pre D&D, so they would kind of like have these like fantasy simulations by grabbing these maps and just let's go get lost in the dark miles beneath Iowa or whatever. So that was I wanted to reference and shot that out. But I love this article, this it's exploring magic behind video game map
So,
creation as well. Where yeah, maps are so we'll just read really really quick. I think it's worth us mentioning what this article is saying. So maps are something we're all familiar with, yet few of us seek them out. Not as we did as children anyway, sprawled on the floor with oversized atlases, exploring place name, coastlines, and supposed routes on our fingertips. There aren't
well,
many of us who decide to get up one day, head to the library, and have a really good look at a map. They're still an integral part of everyday life. Google Maps on iOS are incredibly helpful, but can't always compete with the idea of unrolling, or unfolding a giant map in order to plot a journey. So it's like, again, using like returning back to the analog. Yeah, there's so much in this article to unpack. I spoke too much about it so far. What do you have to say about this, Jack?
so I'm posting up additional link
Okay.
onto the page
Mm-hmm.
on the show notes. So the additional link is about North Jersey's being the hotspot for abandoned mines, and how the modern day interpretation of exploring is now becoming more and more like a D&D. Yeah. So a lot of the images you're gonna see in this article, you could like put it in any game fantasy, and it will be like, oh, that I could buy that. That's fantasy, but this is our reality.
Okay. Oh
But
man.
for the map side, it D&D is like a
Amazing.
great example of this, because a lot of people will use maps in D&D to help create those settings and help
Mm-hmm.
create and flesh out their worlds. And without a map, you tend to have to use 500 pages of notes just to create like a single town. But with the map, you could like, oh, here's Tim who has a secret dagger that can kill the whole world. So it gives you more room and freedom to create, and but also allows you to understand here's your restrictions, here's your boundaries. So like one of the best games I consider in the last century. Uh why can't I remember its name? But it have a map for it.
Oh, you mean
Uh,
like a physical map?
yeah, the universe map for it.
Mm-hmm.
The end game map. The guys who used to make who probably made New Vegas made this game.
Um, Fallout.
Obsidian.
Fallout.
No. The newest game. It's from
Anthem.
Obsidian.
No. Oh wait, no. Outer Worlds.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So I like this map. It seems basic, but over the course of the game, it allowed the game developer to add on for quests and add on to the map.
Yeah.
So like in like certain factions quests, they will have like, oh, another space station where you could fully explore or gather resources from.
Mm-hmm.
So like this map showcases like one of the best ways of using a map, because it holds endless ways of expanding, but also allows the game developer to say, yeah, but there's also one part of this universe.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I love the using a physical analog tactile map alongside playing something digital, and
Right.
they talk about that a little bit in the article. But I'm just going to read one more sentence from this article that I wrote in my notes that I wanted to highlight, and that is, cartography is an important aspect of history, conjuring a physical depiction of something once thought intangible. And the idea of physical maps hasn't left general consciousness
Mm-hmm.
despite the prevalence of digital technology. Oh, it's so good!
No,
Wow.
but it also shows like images of like oh my god, I know this game from heart, but I forget its title, like the other words.
Mm.
Image created by Sony. It's on the article. Do you remember the name?
Sodi game on the article?
Yeah, image created by Sony.
No, I don't.
Nathan Drake. Nathan Drake.
Oh, okay. I
Also,
haven't played it, that's why.
so basically, Uncharted. So basically, in that game, the whole stick is you're playing as Indiana Jones in modern times, and the whole basis of the game is usually around maps. So you could make a whole game about maps,
Whoa,
and
whoa. Is
the
that
game
me?
mechanics. Huh?
Is that? I think you clicked on something, dude. Or that was me. Sorry. Hey, welcome back.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
We're good. We're
You
good.
got
Please,
me?
please
Okay.
continue. That was amazing.
Okay, so but the images on like you could make an entire game about maps and how the adventure goes, and the mechanics of it be totally different. Uncharted mechanics are basically an action game. You're not really focusing on like searching for the map, but the story is about the adventure that the map provides. So yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Really, really good article. Another one we highly recommend. Just read. There's a lot in there to unpack, and that is GamesRadar.com. Man, they do some really good stuff. And this is The Miles We Walk: How Physical Maps Can Guide the Development of Sprawling Game Worlds. All right. Final thing to mention, and this really isn't an article. I just wanted to give really a shout out to these guys. So I've been talking with a lot of friends about what's popular, what's going to probably become popular in the next year. And this is something that I've seen really rising up. And they mentioned this in the latest Year of the Wall podcast as well about solo gaming. And like they mentioned in the podcast, they meet people at conventions that really only play board games at the conventions. They don't really have a local group where they are back at home where they're from. So they look for one player plus or solo player games. And I think this is a really viable market space for development and design. We don't really have too much. Do I have it out here? Yeah, so one of my favorite solo Jack, this is another one that I think you should really. I should probably just buy you a copy. So it's Legacy of Dragonholt. It's this box full of like modules but it's all solo play. So it's this campaign that you can play. I don't know, 50 hours worth of, and it's just you managing this party. I think you go back to this town and you get like quests from this village, from this tavern, and go back out. But it's designed. It's one player max RPG in a box, and that's Legacy of Dragonholt. But there's Black Orchestra, these other games that are coming out. But I think this is a really viable space that I would definitely like to explore. I don't want to say it's easier, but oftentimes it's difficult to scale games for 3 to 4 or even just 2 player. There's all these kind of balance issues that happens in the design space. But in a solo player experience, it's just you and the content, right? So you kind of just balance all the content, and you're good. But and before you give your thoughts, what this is this is the solo RPG guild, solo role playing guild on Board Game Geek. So this is a guild that you can join, and they talk about games they've played, their experiences, make recommendations. Really cool. I mean, like most stuff on BGG, really good groups. I just really wanted to just give them a shout out. for solo role playing or solo tabletop role playing in general. What's your thoughts on solo tabletop role playing, and then also this guild?
The first time I saw the image, I had to laugh because it was really the
dice you're talking about?
spell was Nightmare.
Okay. I love their dice logo though. So if you look at the dice logo, all the ones, it's so cool.
I'm talking about the dice logo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then Together We Roll Alone.
That's cool, dude. Together We Roll Alone.
I was just like laughing my okay, is that the bad word? Beep off. Okay.
Yes.
But the community so far, as I was looking down and continuing to go down, has just been a mostly positive community and supportive community that tries to empower each other and also empower this whole subgenre, which is solo RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
So, if developers feel that there is not a market for it, this guild already showcased that, hey, I'm here, I'm waiting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like kind of unique for a game developer perspective because several of the critiques they give are actually, you could take notes down and place it in 2 pairs and 3 to 4 pairs, and it actually may work even better.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find the one I saw, but there was one about NPCs, and that could actually apply for video games and also RPGs in general. Because several game masters will struggle about this whole topic on NPCs, how they'll need to be, how their role is in a whole RPG setting, both in video games and in tabletop. So the interest is there, and I could see that.
Yep, cool. So that is SROYT, Solo RPGs on Your Table group on BGG. That's put together by Simon Hunt. Good job, man. I hope you make a T-shirt. I would definitely make a T-shirt.
Same.
That's cool. Yeah, I love that. Together We Roll Alone.
So I did a last plug, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on the show notes.
Okay. Oh boy. A little surprise, folks. Okay. Yeah. All right. Go for it.
So this plug is about other game developer, but on video game section, and they're creating a mod called Kaiserreich. It's an alternate history mod if Germany won World War One. The amount of content they was able to produce is equivalent to the base game. So they change almost every game mechanic in the base game to where it is its own unique game in all sense of the word.
So this is a mod for the Hearts of Iron game, right?
Yes, but this mod is actually equivalent to scale of that game. They rework everything and also gives you more of a RPG feeling than a Dictator or stuff like that. So a lot of and they don't receive that much funds other than from a Patreon and stuff like that. And the mod itself is free for anyone to experience, and the lore itself is free for anyone to research on. So I included a link to the Reddit post for the mostly active, and they're basically a game development company, but taking on the added restriction of at its base core, you're not really allowed to sell it because it's a mod. So that's they're doing it out of passion, basically.
Awesome. Good on them. Thank you, man. That's a really good plug.
Yeah, and then several of the Reddit though has a lot of memes. So just if you want to see their history, I'm gonna add like a YouTube channel link. That's probably your best bet.
Okay, so this is from Reddit. Kaiserreich. Kaiserreich.
Yeah.
All right. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Please email us poetry, comments, questions, things you'd like to see.
Oh.
I mean, and even if you stumble across the Akron Force, that was another transformer.
I actually wanted to ask you one last thing.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, I know you do not want like to tackle subjects that's in the media so far, but
we also are running a little late.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Yes.
This is a quick thing. Do you feel that the coronavirus will delay resources from ball gaming from China?
Absolutely.
Okay. That was the quick ask question.
Okay, absolutely. We might want to bring that up on it. That's something definitely we can deep dive into. Very cool. So yes, you could email us poetry, comments. If you're part of a really cool grassroots board game organization thing that are doing games for societal change, links, shoot us a link, man. We will talk about it, and we'd love to promote what you're doing. Or any kind of experimental game that you're working on, shoot us a link. We'd love to talk about it, and that's going to be at the board. Hold on one sec, Jack. At theboardstate@gmail.com. That is at theboardstate@gmail.com spelled out. Go ahead, Jack.
Or even if you are doing something that is difficult to do, like Kaiserreich, or even the role-playing guild group. If you're doing anything like that, that's also a thing that we'll show you to cover.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to do it.